Well, your Crankworx DH presented by iXS yesterday. Quite the day. Conditions pretty good after things dried up a little bit. Jill Kittner trying to give a run, defend that queen title, Needles.
Definitely. She got maybe a little less practice than she wanted. I was out there walking the track. It is super challenging here. As you see, coming down the larches, very rutted, very slippery, unpredictable. You've really got to play it safe down there. She came into the finish. We know she kind of was a bit disappointed. She was pumping as hard as she could coming over this finish.
And you know the time for Jill, she checked in with that one. That was a 3:51.94 for Jill Kittner. Could that be enough to kind of hold up the ladies back and defend that queen title? Well, there were some other girls just chomping at the bit, ready to take to this course. And that one right there, that's one of them, Casey Brown. What do you say about her?
An amazing all-round talent on a bike. Bit of an interesting attire for a downhill race, but she's doing all sorts of riding. She's down through the larches. Like we said, super rutted. You've got to be super safe down there. You can really throw your race around. She's carrying really good speed here in the wet conditions. Oh, she does the step up, holding really good pace here, Brad.
Well, I kind of like the kid. I like her rolling with the flannel. I think that's a nice little touch right there. And you see that she crossed the line for Casey Brown, checked in with a 3:45.81, and that was good enough to take the #1 spot at that point, Needles. But she wasn't the last one to go because, of course, you have Swiss rider EMILIE SIEGENTHALER ready to do battle.
Very strong rider out of Switzerland, riding for Pivot Factory Racing. She's been doing a lot of off-season training in Queenstown here in New Zealand, riding with Bernard Kerr. I was riding with her in Queenstown and really impressed with the speed she's got. Takes a bit of a different line there around the larches, but like I said, you've got to play it safe because if you fall off there, your race is done. So she's holding pretty good speed. Very strong rider in the mud, obviously being from Europe.
Well, we also talk about the conditions because it was wet, and that's why it's rutted out, because things dried up, but the ruts were already there. But EMILIE SIEGENTHALER, when she crossed, her time was a 3:38.3 run. So what that did for her is that put her on the top, and that bumped Casey Brown down into that second spot. But it's not over because there's still one more to go, Needles, and that's TRACEY Hannah, man.
It was all to play for, wasn't it? We had the final woman down the hill. She'd been here second the last 2 years.
And you saw the girls congratulating them, but they know that this could be over very quick, and TRACEY Hannah can dispel those dreams short.
She was out the gate. She's been doing a lot of off-season training, also doing a bit of prep in Queenstown, New Zealand, getting time on the downhill bike with the lift access there. She comes down the larches. You see, she holds a very tight line. That's the men's line as well. Very difficult to get clean, which she does. So she was pushing all the way to the finish. Like I said, she's got some serious motivation. She's got the world champs in her hometown later this year, so she uses all these Crankworx events as kind of preparation to see where her speed's at, and man, did she have some speed today.
Well, you bring up the word speed, and I like the fact that you brought that up because you saw EMILIE SIEGENTHALER with a 3:38.31, but when TRACEY Hannah came across, she posted up a 3:32.12 and took the #1 spot and took the win as well.
It's so hectic all weekend, like it's raining, there's dry, there's dewy, and the track is pretty hard, but I'm so stoked because I've never won in Rotorua, and I always wanted to, but I always just didn't quite get there, so I'm over the moon.
Talk to me about your run. I mean, you're saying the track's difficult. Did it go flawless, or did you have a few moments up there?
No, I had a really good run. I knew that you had to pull it back. You couldn't do 110% on this track. You had to do 97. And I had a few close calls, but nothing bad. I knew that if I got through everything smooth with my feet on, I'll be in with a chance, and yeah, I'm super excited.
A man that's had big success here, taken second the first year we were out here in 2015 on a new team, Giant Factory Off-Road, getting some really good support. Keeping it smooth through those man-made rock art and pretty slick. He had a bubble just before that, but he seemed to still manage to hold some speed.
Oh boy, did he ever, and he held that together. He's had success first year here, got second place, and it was said and done out here. Elliot Jackson checked in with a 2:58.40. That was good enough for the hot seat for Elliot Jackson, but that's not over because we had other guys coming up, and we're talking about Jack Moyer.
Jack Moyer. Young guy's had some injury in the past, but he's really successful at these Crankworx events when he shows up.
Well, Jack Moore, he's no stranger to putting up a fast time, and right there, that was a pretty darn fast time. That took over the top spot, 2:55.63. So that bumped Elliot Jackson down, but then it was time for a man that I like to announce his race, and I'm talking about sick Mick Hannah from Down Under. Mick looking really good right here today.
He really is. I've caught up with him. He's had a really good off-season. He's strong and fit and healthy, and more important, he's got his eyes set on the Cairns World Champs at the end of the year, but he uses all these Crankworx events to prepare for for them, and he loves racing out here. Keeping it low on that little hip jump. And we got another little long and low. He carries so much speed. Oh, suicide for the fans.
That was one of my favorite parts about Sick Mick Hanna. He is on point. He checks in his time, 2:58.06. Not going to take Jack out, but he's going to get in that second spot with that time, Needles.
2 men left. We got Loic Bruni. He's 1 year, 2 years running. He's looking for the three-peat. He's got some new suspension on the bike and new brakes. I know they've been doing a lot of testing in Queenstown, trying to get him as comfortable as he can be. I'm hearing he really likes it. He's pushing hard here hard on the pedals here, through the long and low. We're going to pick him up here then. Oh, that's a new line. Something must have happened here. He's not taking that step up. Oh, my goodness.
You can tell right there, trouble for Loic Bruni, and ends up with a 3:04.17, 15th place. But how about Troy Brosnan? One guy to go. They say Dynamite comes in small packages, and this guy can deliver. Look at that gold. Look at that other gold. Those are the Canadian Open DH. But Troy Brosnan, could he upset the bounce? Could he knock Jack off that #1 spot? Well, he was going to give it his best, Needles.
Troy Brosnan on a new team, new bike. He's left Specialized. He's on Canyon Factory Racing, going against kind of Loic Bruni here. Oh, speed tuck, long and low with a bit of a whip out. We pick it up here. He's hard on the pedals, crossing in there. We've got a little bit of track left. What can he do? Low again.
You got to think it right here, Troy Brosnan. Something just doesn't look right the way he was running that one. And when he checked in a time, 3 minutes even and some change. 6th place for him. When your top 3 ended up, Elliot Jackson grabbing that 3rd spot. Sick Mick Hanna getting on the #2 spot. And Jack Moore, Shark Attack Jack, taking the big win out here.
Yeah, pretty stoked with that, eh? It's hard to know how fast you're riding coming into like the first race of the season, because I mean you're just riding at home by yourself, so it's good to see my training's paid off. And I made a little mistake in the middle. I'm sure everyone did though, because the conditions are real greasy and pretty tricky. So I mean, I think you can always have a better run, but I had a pretty good run, so I was happy with that.